Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of the Smoke Room. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the newest version earlier, you can go to Patreon, which is $3 a month for this and other games. So, now in the last Let's Play, we saw who was coming through the front door, which was this guy, basically. Who was like, yep, I stayed in the mines, not found that silver, and I got more money. At which point he was punched by the bear and we just kind of left the stag. And then we went back to the bunk, looked at the map, because, that's what we're supposed to memorize, 3 levels of map of the mines, and then we went to sleep, where we heard, somebody going, die. I want you all to die. But it's maybe in our dreams or something like that. I don't know. It's echo finagly stuff going on. Then, next day, we went to the mines. And we're working with this boyish, childish, happy fellow, as you can see here, with the look of, joy in his eyes. I mean, that's what the main character says he is. He looks so happy. But we're going into the mines for our first day of work. And I feel a bit bad cutting the last one a bit early, but it's also like, this scene could be a long one. Who knows? You can only tell when you actually read it. When you set face. Well, come on. Both of us at the same time? Damn straight. She's rocky, but she's sturdy. I try not to look into the wide chasm below, as I close the gap between the platform we're standing on and the free-swinging elevator. Where's your stuff? Stuff? He cocks his head and lets out a sharp whine. Your tools, or your lunch? I didn't bring one. The dog lets out a loud whistle that echoes below us, far longer than I might have liked it to. Well, you had your hooch and hotcakes this morning, because this bitch goes deep. Ben flips a switch, and the chain sounds of the elevator ring out as he descends. You've got 30-minute lunch break at noon, but it takes too damn long to make your way in and out of this level. So you better learn to be prepared from this day forward, or I promise you'll be sorry. You'll have nobody to blame but yourself if you go hungry. He looks at me as if he expects me to respond to that, but it's true, so I have nothing to add. Where are you from? Been a local for a while now. And before that, East Coast. Not much of a talker, or something. No, wait, you ain't much of a talker or something. I didn't think there was anything wrong with my answers. Not really, no. That's a shame then. You gotta have friends in this kind of work. Probably true. Awful hard to make friends if you don't talk too much, or talk so well. Alright? Well, at least you're speaking my language. The dog flicks his tongue and gives me a wink. More than I can say for most around here. I think you'll do just fine. Thanks. But I don't remember asking. We keep going lower until I feel my ears pop. Then the elevator comes to a stop. What level is this? 3rd. That didn't seem right. But why is it so deep? Well, why shouldn't it be? Ain't most tunnels just stacked right on top of each other? Says who? Says nobody. Just thought that's how it was supposed to be. Well, ain't everything's gonna be how you expect. He smiles at me. Look at that big old smile right there. I wouldn't worry about it. But I think you should worry about the foreman's first impression of you. I dropped the back talk. I don't mean no rudeness. I try to breathe deep, but the air feels thin down here. Just curious is all. Try not to be too curious. There's all sorts of funny smells and sounds on here that can get you hurt, or worse, if you don't know what you're doing. He taps me on the arm and flicks his head in a way that's a little more familiar than I'd like. Let's introduce you to the boss. I noticed that the tunnels on the third level, if this is really the third level anyway, have much shorter ceilings than the top floor. It's lucky that my head barely doesn't touch the top of the ceiling. But for Nick, it must be a problem. We can barely see the first man that comes across as he hauls a creaky cart by us, and the squeeze against the wall is tight to let him through. He stops when he comes into the cage behind us. My fur prickles when I hear it rattle and squeal at the top of the vertical shaft, scraping as it descends rapidly. Wait, is it going down further? I can hear a softer hum drone in the distance. After we make a few turns, we emerge from the cramped tunnels into a bigger chasm with a high ceiling that may be some 60, some 80 feet tall. I'm just gonna put that there. Because that, sometimes it's like, okay, could be the way he speaks, but then other times like, not so much. The noise here is a lot. A large spinning wheel, at least 3 times my height, creaks when it moves. I can see that it connects to a system of moving belts, and that those connect to a compressor that's humming and vibrating. That in turn connects to a bunch of pipes and hoses that can be followed parallel to a set of tracks. And they lead to more sounding, drilling, hammering, picking, and scraping. So wait, do they have like automated stuff these days when it comes to mining here? To me, I was just thinking of mining as using a pickaxe, you know? The tubing is attached to a large mechanical drill sitting on a platform connected to the track. Okay, I guess they do have mechanical drilling. Huh. Which would make sense that because that one guy lost his fingers through machinery or something. It's hard to tell who's manning it in the dim light. Hey, it's what could be, Flynn's great-grandfather or great-great-grandfather. But when I get a closer look, it's a sturdy-looking Gila monster. When he notices us, he takes a look for a second, then redirects his attention to the rock. It seems like he's either really concerned on this concentrated on this particular job, or he's ignoring us. I sat in place so long, waiting for my guide to say something, that I have to shift my weight. Good morning. Reporting in for today's work, Mr. Moore. He flips off a switch of the machine and takes a look at us. Beckett's fine. His voice sounds surly and gruff. This isn't the military. Keys? What do you need? Briggs asked me to bring our new man to you. Despite how dark it is, I can tell the lizard's looking at me, slowly, from top to bottom. He's not prepped for work. No bag, no hammer, no pick, nothing. I doubt he even has matches. Wait, did we pick up the equipment? I mean, Mr. What's-his-name said he was gonna pay for all of our equipment. I know I'm not even planning to stay here, but this man is doing a good job at making me feel embarrassed. What the hell is this, Keys? Everybody knows they're supposed to supply their own materials. The lizard's tone is getting more and more curt with me. I apologize for the inconvenience, sir, but Mr. Hendricks told me that he'd supply those things for me. Let's suppose for a second that's true. When? I am a little surprised by that question. Though, in fairness, I probably shouldn't be. It's a pretty fair question. Well, he never told me when I was getting those things. In all frankness, I'd hope I'd run into him here. He was some kind of joker? This is level 3. Hendricks never comes down here. He's not somebody who likes to get his pressed suits dirty, if you catch my drift. Then, I suppose that's a bit of a problem for me. That's putting it lightly. If you can't work, you can't get things done. And if you can't work, you don't get paid. Nothing personal, but this is a job. Level 3 might not be the best place for a novice anyhow. I'll take the rookies and experts alike if they can work, Keys. We're undermanned. Maybe he didn't know any better, but if you saw him without equipment, then you shouldn't be down here. You usually know better than that. That look in his face. Wait, don't blame me for the new fella's mistakes. It's his fault, not mine. Beckett grunts. If I had to blame anybody, it's probably Hendrix, but all of these setbacks have put us a week behind schedule, and Briggs is pissed. We haven't made much progress on expanding the main shaft or digging deeper, and the exposed veins will be picked dry before long. By other miners? Who's picking them dry? Or are we put on this job while there's veins that are just exposed and other people can just take them? I don't know. Now's the time. Okay. I'd feel the same way if I were in his shoes. Let's just do our best to put things right. Understood? Of course, sir. Understood. The guy turns away from us and flips a switch to his machine. I brace myself for a loud, chiseling sound again, but all I hear is the click of the switch back and forth. The guy curses under his breath. Something's wrong with the damn pick again. He circles the machine. The compressor hose is secure, and there's nothing out of line with the hardware. Must be a problem with the compressor itself. Did Kai say he was having a problem with it today? Well, Kai wasn't here? Wasn't there? He was supposed to be. That's his assignment today. Then he missed it. So, who the hell was there, Keys? I didn't see anybody. You're supposed to report that, damn it. If there's something wrong with the compressor, then it could be power, and that could affect the veins. I just wasn't thinking about that right now. Jesus Christ, this is dangerous. I'm not to blame for any of this. I don't give a ghost of a shit who's to blame. I just need you with me, Keys. Breakdowns like this can cause a lot of problems if we're not on top of them. Where the hell is your head today? Is there a problem? Hey, Nick. And just like that, my whole body feels a whole lot lighter when I hear Nick's voice. Perfect fucking time. Could be. I need to check on some things. I heard you said that this one lacks equipment. He nodded to me. I have tools to spare. That would be helpful, Mr. Carroll. Show this man the ropes. He's on extraction duty with you for today. Unless Mr. Keys has some need for him, I don't. Then, that's one problem solved. Help me investigate the compressor. And whatever Mr. Kai might have, where Mr. Kai might have went. Of course. The two of them are gone, without much of having given me a second look. Well, that went as poorly as first impressions could go. I saw it all. I want to tell Nick. It feels like the foreman knows I shouldn't be here. But Nick gives me a look that says there are people everywhere listening. It's unfortunate that the pneumatic rock pick isn't working right now. It's a beautiful piece of technology. But if there are problems with it, the foreman will just have to use his pick and hammer for a while, like the rest of us. So, what do the rest of us do exactly? Nick grunts. In some ways, you're lucky that progress has been slow. Extracting ore is not difficult. You'll have no problems while you're with me for today. But it's hard work, so you're going you're going to sweat. I can handle that. For a moment, I consider mentioning how that's never bothered him before, but I don't think he would much appreciate if I said something like that here. But I can't stand the idea of getting grimy for hours on end without grooming myself thoroughly that day. It's only a week, though. I think I can put up with anything for only a week. The farther we go from the Beckett's site, the harder it is to see the heavy machinery and the torches. The light of Nick's lamp is the only guide we have at the moment. How do any of you manage to see down here? The Badger taps his cap. I do just fine with this. But before I could afford a lamp, candles mostly. That's a little bit strange to me. Strange? How? I never seen you without your hat before when you work. I just assumed you always had it. Carbide lamps are expensive, my friend. And so is the gas. Still, it's hard for me to picture you without it on for very long. That I can agree with. It gives me comfort. Careful. He lays a big arm across my chest. His headlight shines on a pile of rocks scattered messily on the dirt floor, and the end of the mine track where the wide cart sits. I can hear grunts and the shuffling of bodies, and rocks scattering all around me, but I can barely see anything in front of me. Let's find a spot that isn't so crowded. I want to tell him that I don't mind because I can't see anybody, but I don't think I should second guess him. Here's a nice spot. Come. There's a big outcropping of rock besides the wooden scaffold. It looks like a gray, formless mass until Nick shines his light on the piece, which has streaks that sparkle like the stars in the sky. I'm trying to think what that would be. I've never been good at mineralogy. If you have not seen one before, this is what silver vein looks like. Nice. Vein's kind of strange choice of the name, ain't it? Strange? How? It's just a word is all. Makes you think about blood, not metal stuck in rocks. And blood pumps. It's always moving. If you find it in something, it means it's alive. It is interesting to me how often we talk, and you make me think about your language. Did I say something dumb again? I hope that's not a bad thing. Not at all. But vein is a very good word for this occurrence, as a concept. Blood does flow through veins. Water flows through the cracks in the earth, carrying mineral sediments with it. Over time, those minerals crystallize, fill in the cracks, leaving compounds between the ores. As you dig deeper, we're only following where the water once was. If you do not want to call these deposits veins, you should simply say, we are following the seepage. I don't like it at all, actually. In fact, I hate that. He stares at me. Seepage, Samuel. What are you both talking about? I flinch because I hear Yao's voice before I can see him. He's so quiet when he walks. Just in time. I was going to show Sam the ore extraction techniques. Let me help you then. Those can be dangerous. He could just jump into it. I don't mind that demonstration before trying. Sure. The tools you should have on hand are a pickaxe, a sledgehammer, a spike, matches, and sticks of dynamite. Picks are for soft rock and packed gravel. The rest is for dislodging and breaking apart big deposits. I can barely see Yao crouch down and rustle with a bag. When he comes back into Nick's light, holding a long, thick, steel spike in his paw. I hold this while Nick embeds it into the rock with one good, strong swing. If I don't keep still, he could miss and crush my fingers. Excuse me? Nick has his sledgehammer behind his back, squeezes the handle, shifts his weight into the swing, pausing in midair just a bit. Now. And then he brings it down. I look away and hear a horrible crunching noise. I think about the sable's hand. Wondering if this is the way he lost it. You can stop looking away now. The spike is in. I open my eyes. The large spike looks like it's several inches deep into the wall. Why would you let him do that? Because he never misses. You can thank my hat. The light beam helps me focus, and the weight of it is just right. I'm not thanking your hat. It's just an expression, Samuel. You say that, but I know you really love that hat. Still, you make it look so easy, but that can't be safe. You think this is our first time doing this? The head of the spike is wide enough for the hammer, that the hammer should never come into contact with your fingers if you grab the center. Once the spike is in, all I have to do is place the dynamite in the cracks, stand back, and let the walls crumble. So nobody ever gets hurt doing this? We do not say that, but for the two of us, we've worked together long enough to coordinate our actions. There are ways to tap it in too, but it takes much longer. With more swings, you add more chances to make mistakes. Nick had told me stories about driving steel into rock before, and it always sounds exhausting. But I didn't understand how risky it was. If he hurt his or Yao's paw, they'd be out of a job. Nick does this nearly every day from dawn until dusk, for less than even what than I make. You want to hold on the spike now, Sam? What? I know what I heard, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. Why? Nick's expression turned stern. So you know what to do if somebody tells you to do this when we aren't here. I don't want to hold it. I understand. He leans in close to me and whispers, I do not want you to either, but I cannot always be here. It will look suspicious if we're always together. They'll eventually force us apart. That's why I want to prepare you for anything. Nick pulls a spike out of the rock and places it in my paw. The spike feels warmer than I thought it would be, and Nick's paw lingers there, squeezing mine shut. Then he guides it to the surface of the rock. Remember, grip the center and hold it still. I nod, squeezing the spike harder than I mean to. On 3. He takes a step back. 1. He has the hammer onto his shoulder. 2. He lifts it. I stare up at it. Up at him. The blunt head of the hammer raises above me. It suddenly occurs to me that Nick wants revenge for what I did to his former co-worker. This would be the easiest way to do it. Oh, that if Nick wants to do it. After all, these sorts of accidents happen all the time. No matter how hard I try, it's impossible to block out this place's dark, damp, earthy smell. And Jack's smell. The sharp tang from the iron of his blood, and the acrid smell of the shit from his guts, filling his pants. 3. I feel the rush of the wind when I hear the crunch. Sorry to do this tangent here, but I wonder how long that shit takes. Because, personally, I have encountered a, very freshly deceased corpse at one point in time. And, Jack would also be freshly deceased too. But the guy I, encountered didn't have shit in his pants, or at least in my memory. Just saying. There was vomit, though. The spike is embedded in the rock again, and I let go. I feel a slight tingle in my hands from the force of the blow, but that's all really. I heard a slumping in my throat. Good, he let go. You never want to hold on to the spike when it's lodged this far in. He hammered the spike up to its head in the rock, then pulled the spike out. So wait, are we supposed to let go at the last second as he hammers into it, or are we just supposed to keep it loose so our hand just doesn't get smashed in the thing? And now for the fun part. He cupped his mouth with his hands and bellowed up behind him. Blast! We hear the shuffling feet and the rumble of voices some distance away from us, moving further away still. When I say so, we go. He crouches and rustles in a pack on the floor, then puts the bag on his back, retrieving a thin, black capsule fuse encapsulated in his left hand. Then holds the fuse with his lamplight. Wait for the hiss. The fuzzy sound of the sparks are unmistakable. Now, you place the dynamite in the hollow spike hole, and you run. He then surprised to see Yao and I already a considerable distance away from him, so he breaks into a run to catch up. Yao pulls me by the sleeve and the barrier of the rock and scaffolding, and tells me to duck and cover my ears around that barrier of rock and scaffolding. Probably one of the scariest things I've had with that sort of situation was lighting a firework, and I stupidly had my head near the hole, and I lit the fuse, and it went like pretty much almost instantaneously. It wasn't a short fuse either, and it was like, if my head was a bit to the left, I probably might have been maimed at least. The blast is louder than any gunshot I've ever heard. I can feel the weight of the explosion briefly in my knees, connecting to the ground. We can hear the rocks tumble over one another, and it continues for several minutes as the shattered vein crumbles and collapses, spilling out sparkling clusters. So, now what? We pick up all the small pieces and put them in the cart. And we crush the larger pieces with a hammer until they are fit to transport. It feels like we spend hours crushing and hauling rocks, lowering them into the cart, pushing the carts to the cage for transportation, and then unloading the rocks. About halfway through the pile, the foreman comes and drags Yao off somewhere for something else. So the rest of the work goes even slower. I feel pretty uncomfortable by the time we clear the pile. My fur is slick with sweat, but there's a thin film of dust and debris on top of that. There's a stiffness to each clump of my fur when I move. I desperately need to wash up. Nick? I'm starting to think that holding a spike isn't so bad. No? This work is nasty. I haven't been this dirty for only a few hours since I worked in my cousin's slaughterhouse. Is that so? You should expect... It's weird that he's worked in the mines before. You'd think he'd, been dirty before. You should expect for there to be a lot of dirt when you work beneath the ground. I don't mind it when it's all around me. The different story when it's all up on me, sliding against me in places it probably shouldn't be. Well, we can clean you up when the lunch whistle blows. But still, I would not bother. You'll get dirty again in the afternoon anyway. Oof. I see most of Nick's upper body lurch forward as he looks ahead, eyes widening with surprise. Then he lurches forward, nearly skipping to keep himself from toppling over. I have to put my hand in front of a mongoose who is yelling in a language I don't understand to keep him from pushing Nick again. But then he starts pushing me. Hey, what's his problem? I don't know. I can't understand what he's saying either. But I can probably guess. It's that one guy from the regular show. What was great-great-great-grandfather? Your friend takes up most of the tunnel. I look at the walls again. They're definitely exaggerating. You can pass us by. A badger steps by, pushing his back awkwardly against the wall to give the mongoose and the blue jay room to run by. The mongoose does. The blue jay doesn't. Nick sounds a lot more quiet than usual. His face is impossible to read. Barely. I don't know what this asshole's problem is. I wonder if he's a foreman. His shirt's a different color, I guess. But he's definitely wasting our time. You gonna walk past, or what? We've got things to do. Everyone down here has things to do. Might be a hell of a lot easier if your foreign friend ate less. Your mouth moves a lot, awfully a lot, for a party of one. That face there. And for someone skinnier than most depictions of Christ on the crucifix. Blessed be his name. You slow or something? Please don't cause trouble on your first day, Sam. Since when did I cause trouble? The blue jay walks past us after all. Hey, what's this? The blue jay snatches Nick's hat and looks at it, hopping several steps backward. This looks like a fire hazard. I think Foreman Moreau should have a look at this. Nikolai has the blue jay against the wall. He's grabbing him by both arms, gripping tight, squeezing. Shouldn't have taken Nick's hat. Then he takes his hat back. You will not touch that. He grips both of the blue jay's shoulders and slams them back against the wall. Not now. He slams again. Not later. He slams again. Not ever. He puts the hat back on his head, and the blue jay stumbles forward. I didn't notice until now, but Nick is actually heaving. The blue jay has a dazed sort of look, like he's confused to be where he is right now. Then he shook his head like he was lost. Is there something going on over there? A golden retriever standing behind us, walking up to the scene. Is something the matter, Nate? The blue jay shakes his head and spits on the floor before we turn to leave. He looks from Nick, then to me, and his expression sours. Oh, you again. What about me again? Now, I don't know what's going on, but I don't think we're off to a great start. You need to learn about company culture. Come again? Aren't you a family member here? Or whatever the fuck's at corporate would say. Do you remember what your boss said? We do the work. We get paid. If everybody can't figure out how to get along, we won't get anything done. And now, I see the two of our good workers are at each other's throats in this early in the week. Are you an instigator, Mr. Ayers? Are you a foreman, Keys? I've heard this voice before. From a prior night. Hey, it's him. Now again, I'm not sure how long some of these things are, but it's like... No, we might just continue a bit more. It was the bear from the stag. The one Nick and Yao knew. Move along, Dimitri. This doesn't concern you. And management certainly doesn't concern you. You're still not a boss. Wait, he isn't? For some reason, I assumed he was another foreman. That's really weird. I don't have to be a manager to care about the state of the men's morale. But, in a very real capacity, you are not qualified to be. Am I wrong, Keys? I have seniority over this man. And I have seniority and expertise over you. Doesn't really mean a thing now, does it? Well, maybe it should. Though, I have to say, there is a difference in having seniority as a grunt for 2 years versus having it for 10. I'm happy where I am. We'll have a chat about how happy you are with your life in 8 years. I have a hunch we won't be in contact by then. You're still young. I wouldn't trust too many of your hunches. Like, for instance, that fist you threw last night with your thumb positioned beneath your knuckles. Ben smacks the side of the mining cart. Not here. Not today. Let's have a clean day today. I want some kind of order on the 3rd floor. Then control yourself and lead by example. After all, it's all that we can do. Ben chuffs and walks away in a moody swagger. You fellas alright? Of course. Well, I am anyway. But Nick? I can't really say. He's staring at the ground. His arms are folded. I haven't ever really seen him that intense before. At least, not in that way. I've seen him emotional in private before. And he told me he's been in fights before. But I've never seen him grab a guy. Although, I guess he grabbed me before plenty. But it wasn't like that. Something about that scared me. I hope he's alright. I guess I should be careful about touching his hat myself. I need a moment to gather my thoughts. The ghostly iron whistle blows through the tunnels. Just take care to bring them to the mess area. And don't want to skip out on the best part of the day. Or you don't want to. You think that'd be going home. That's at night. Oh, that's true. I guess. The bear is holding his chest as he rolls out a burst of laughter at his own joke. It's the kind of laugh that reminds you of embers crackling in an autumn campfire. I think you get that what's important. But it doesn't sit right when somebody tells me you shouldn't find a way to be comfortable with a day of honest work. Trust me, when you get to a certain age, it's good to have something or other that keeps you busy. I never had much trouble staying busy. Neither did I. Until later. He sends us a casual salute and wanders down the tunnels. I've held us up long enough. We should go. I wouldn't be too concerned about me. I didn't pack anything to eat. Why would that make me less concerned? You must eat, Sam. I've skipped lunch plenty times before. More recently than before, to be honest. Some cornbreads, collars, and pork would be nice right now. We'll ask some of the men to share. Or barter if we must. And I think with that scene change and us being over time by a hefty amount, that is a good time to call it. So, that's gonna be the end of this Let's Play. So please comment, guys. Like comments, tell me you like, dislike, tips, or otherwise. If you like my YouTube and like see it grow, then please like, subscribe, and check out the videos to help it grow. Please remember to spay your animals to help control the pet population. And if you want to play this game, it's available for free on the channel. But if you want to support the people that make this game and get the news version early, you can go to their Patreon, where it's $3 a month for this and other games. And damn, I feel like I need a snack. I would like some beef jerky. Anyways, did I say spay your animals? Yeah, do that. Like, subscribe, and all that. And until next time, I'll say, be GamerWolfSix, the smoke room. So thanks and see ya.